Alright, hey, welcome back. Here I'm just kind of going to be showing off my engine and transmission that I've made in Besiege. It's a 2-gear transmission plus neutral, and then a kind of 4-cylinder engine, although they're not really cylinders. They're steam cannons connected to a camshaft. But it's all the same principles of a regular engine and transmission, so I'm just going to be going through them. So here we'll start with the engine because it's what's kind of driving things. So it's got 4 of these mechanisms, which is basically a steam cannon, which will push this wheel around and crank the camshaft, or not the camshaft, the crankshaft. And then all these connect to a weighted flywheel over here. And its purpose is basically just to use inertia to store up energy and keep the engine spinning even when it's not really powered or when it's in between gears, for example. And then here we have the connection to where the clutch from the transmission comes in, but we'll get to that later. Now in most real engines, the clutch would actually connect to the flywheel, but it serves the same function either way. So over here I just have the flywheel at this end, and all of these are ballasts set to maximum weight. So I'll kind of show you how the engine works. Well, first I have to actually run the machine. But to show how the engine works, I can basically individually turn on however many cannons I want. And that's how I can kind of vary the power of the engine at any given time. And as you can see, it's spinning right now, but there's no power in the output shaft because the clutch is disconnected and the transmission is in neutral at the moment. And just to kind of show off the purpose of the flywheel, if I disable all the cannons, the engine's going to keep spinning because it's not under load for a decently long amount of time just because of the inertia in here. So anyway, now onto the transmission side of things. It's pretty simple. We have the input shaft over here, the output shaft over here, and the selector shaft, I want to say. I don't actually know the proper name for it off the top of my head. I think it starts with an R. I'm not sure. But anyway, so this is how we actually connect the input shaft to the output shaft and also select gears. So it's got 3 gears. It's got first, second, and neutral. So right now it's in neutral, and then right here this is first, and then right here is second. And then here, let me put it back into neutral. So the way the selector shaft works is basically I have these pistons, and they're complementary, so these ones are going to be extended when these ones are retracted and vice versa. And then I can either extend one, both, or none of these pistons to select a certain gear. And then over here, for the connection to the output shaft, these pistons also extend to ensure that the connection is always at the same length. So, and then this is the clutch right here. It operates basically like a real clutch. It's just a plate that grabs this wheel over here, and I can engage it using H, and then disengage it like that, and it'll just go back and forth. And so here I'll start demonstrating its full operation. So first let's start the engine. We'll just run it on low power to begin with, and then I put the transmission in first gear, so it's in gear now. There you go. It didn't actually get fully in gear. It doesn't have any synchros or anything, so it would be quite rough to drive with in real life, but luckily this is not real life, this is Besiege. Anyway, and then I just hit H to engage the clutch, and we'll see the output shaft start spinning. And then here we'll just run it like a real car. We'll power up the engine, and it's going at essentially full speed right now in first gear. So obviously we have lower speed but higher torque. So now let's shift into second gear. So what we got to do here is first we disengage the clutch, then drop it into second, re-engage the clutch. That was a nasty engagement. There we go. And we'll notice the output shaft is spinning logically at a higher speed because it's in a higher gear. And the ratios are different. So it's got less torque, but it'll be going faster. And you'll notice the engine has kind of started to slow down as well because it has to rotate less in order to make this rotate more. And it's also facing more resistance from the transmission. And then if I want to put it in neutral, I just disengage the clutch, put both of those back, and then when I re-engage it, this will spin all it wants, but the output shaft will stay the same. So yeah, that's basically it in essence, my manual transmission and engine in Besiege. And thank you for watching.